If you've been following this Bud Light situation, I'm sure that you've seen the videos of Joe Rogan going around kind of trashing on the boycott, kind of making fun of the Bud Light boycott and defending the Bud Light brand. They even drank Bud Light while talking about it to stand in solidarity with the people. They were just joking around saying, let's be an ally and drink Bud Light. But the guy who was on as a guest for this Joe Rogan podcast was definitely very much against the Bud Light boycott and very much for Dylan Mulvaney, in favor of Dylan Mulvaney, trying to defend Dylan Mulvaney. And I think that Joe, I said this on stream, I think that Joe just kind of goes guest to guest on how hard up of a stance he wants to take on certain situations. I think that he knew if he took a stance against Bud Light on this particular podcast with this particular guest, it would probably just kill the vibe, because I know that this guest is very left leaning. I don't even know who this is. I can just tell by the way he was talking what his entire stance on everything is, probably the jab, who he voted for. I can just tell by the way he was talking about this Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light situation. I know what kind of person he is. And I know that Joe knows what kind of person he is as well. And if Joe were to take a hard up stance on this Bud Light stuff, it would just kill the vibe of the whole podcast. And I think that was kind of why he took the stance that he did with this Bud Light boycott. But he recently did another podcast where they went over the Bud Light boycott and the new Budweiser ad that they put out. That's very embarrassing, by the way. And they laughed at the whole thing. And Joe Rogan was talking about how much he hates Bud Light, Budweiser even more now. And it's very hilarious that Joe Rogan did the complete 180 that he did. I predicted that he would do that, whenever he had a guest that he could be more open-minded with, that he can actually, trash on things like Bud Light without feeling like he was going to ruin the vibe of the whole podcast. Well, let's check out the old clip first, just in case anybody hadn't seen Joe Rogan defending Bud Light, along with his guests calling Dylan Mulvaney attractive and things like that. Is very strange, dude. And Joe Rogan was even like, holy shit, whenever he said that, So let's check out the clip of his original, defending of Bud Light and going against the boycott. And then we'll check out the clip of Joe Rogan completely doing a 180 and going after Bud Light and Budweiser.
No, man, I think that it's crazy when people get upset about that stuff, because the people who get upset about that stuff value liberty and freedom so much, and they want to live their lives undeterred by anyone's rules.
But they think that the company that they like is giving into the woke agenda. That's what it is.
There's no woke agenda.
A lot of companies
There is no woke agenda, he says. Oh my God.
are using this person. Yeah. There's more than one company. There's like a bunch of them, like Nike and a bunch of other stuff.
Also, she's pretty. I get it. No, I mean, I see nothing wrong.
Yeah, man, that's disturbing. If I was sitting across from a table of someone who just called Dylan Mulvaney pretty and I see nothing wrong, like there's no mental illness there, I would probably just get up and say, you know what, I understand this is going to cost me money, that you came all this way to do this podcast, but dude, like you can't be on this platform. You just can't. You're obviously very mentally ill if you think that. And I just wouldn't be able to sit across from that person and listen to him saying stuff like that. But like I said, I think Joe Rogan just didn't want to kill the vibe of the podcast. We're probably having a good time talking about other topics. I'm definitely not going to go watch that entire podcast to know, because that guy seems like a lunatic. He seems like someone that I definitely don't want to watch an entire 3-hour conversation with. But I think that he just didn't want to kill the vibe. I think that Joe Rogan does that quite a bit, where he'll kind of be like, dependent on the guest, he'll determine how hard up he wants to take stances on certain topics, how deep he wants to go into certain topics, because he just wants to make sure that he puts out a good product for the customers. And not every single person cares about Bud Light. Not every single person cares about political issues as much as people like us do. A lot of people do, but there's a lot of people who watch Joe Rogan that just want to hear about, mushrooms and LSD and DMT and stuff like that. They don't want to hear about Bud Light boycotts and transgenderism and things like that. But on this podcast, Joe Rogan took an entirely new stance, and it's actually a hilarious clip. I knew this was going to happen. I knew he was eventually going to come around and realize how ridiculous the Bud Light situation is and truly just lay into it. And this video was really hilarious, man. I've seen longer versions. I don't want to play the longer version in this video for copyright reasons, and also just because it gets a little bit boring just watching a Joe Rogan podcast instead of the shorter videos that people are more used to on my channel. But I do implore you to go watch the entire podcast, or at least a longer version of this clip, because it's really funny. Even the short version is really funny. The longer version is even funnier though. Joe Rogan, find the new Bud Light commercial later, STFU, now I hate you more. Let's check out what Joe Rogan had to say about the Budweiser commercial, dude. It's hilarious.
Bud Light commercial. Find the new Bud Light commercial. It's
the
dumbest pro-America rah-rah. It's so stupid and cliche. It hurts my feelings. It's so dumb. Listen to this. This is a company in deep shit, bro. And they make things like this. Look, you got the prairies, the ocean. You got a Clydesdale running down the street.
Story.
Whoa.
about a beer. Rooted in the heart of America. Found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract.
What the fuck are you talking
Brewed
about?
for those who found opportunity and challenge.
You know, I would respect them if they had this, and then Dylan Mulvaney just starts cartwheeling into the frame. Day 368 of womanhood.
This is when some CEOs like,
Yeah.
who is in charge? He's 90 years old. Get him. And he comes, well, this is how
Right.
we used to do it. You need the goddamn Clydesdales, first of all.
Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up.
Holy
now I
shit.
hate you more.
See, man, that's the Joe Rogan that I like. You know, that's the Joe Rogan that he's clowning on things that should be clowned on. You know, he's not trying to take this higher road and be like, oh, I don't understand. I don't get why Kid Rock would shoot Bud Light cans. Like, there's no woke agenda, stupid things like that. Like, I can't even allow, like, he didn't say those things, but I can't even believe that guy who was sitting across from him was allowed to say that on Joe Rogan's podcast with barely any pushback. I mean, Joe Rogan made a noise. You could hear him make that noise like, holy shit, I can't believe you just said Dylan Mulvaney's attractive, you know, good luck and things like that. But this is the Joe Rogan that I like. This is the Joe Rogan. This is, I think, who the real Joe Rogan is. You know, this is how Joe Rogan in private, without that guy there that was in the first clip, this is how he would have reacted to the first Bud Light ad campaign as well. In my opinion, this is what I think. And I knew this was going to happen. But it really is so ridiculous, that Budweiser commercial that they put out, dude. It was maybe more ridiculous than the CEO's statement on the whole thing, which everybody seems to forgot about already. But that was a very embarrassing statement from the CEO of Anheuser-Busch that he put out. He was trying to lay into the patriotism stuff too. And it's like, you just know that they're in trouble when they go from promoting Dylan Mulvaney and transgenderism and things like that to straight up just going full on American patriotic mode, not only in the CEO's statements, but also in the Budweiser ad. They're just going super patriotic. And it's not going to work, dude. Like, do you really think that we're that stupid? Like, you're better off just sticking to tweeting out TGIF tweets. Like, they tweeted out the day after the Dylan Mulvaney stuff happened. They tweeted out that TGIF tweet and got absolutely ratioed into oblivion because you're tweeting that out. You're better off just tweeting things like that out and just totally not addressing the issue than trying to gain back good favor from your fans, from your original supporters, by tweeting out stuff like that Budweiser ad. That thing was so embarrassing. And not only is it going to piss off the people who you already pissed off with the Dylan Mulvaney stuff, not only is it going to piss those people off even more, but any good favor that you gained with anyone on the side of Dylan Mulvaney is going to be completely gone after you tweet out that ad with the Clydesdales promoting the patriotism, because none of those people are very patriotic about America at all. None of the people who support Dylan Mulvaney are going to be patriotic. And they're not going to enjoy it very much. And everybody knows, even the people who are stupid enough to still watch The View, Whoopi Goldberg even saw through this Budweiser ad. That's when you know it's bad. When people with that low of IQ can see through the Budweiser ad, that's when you know that you're not going to gain anybody's good favor with posting ads like this. Like I said, it's good to see Joe Rogan finally come around in this whole situation. I think going forward, we'll see him a lot more laugh at this Bud Light situation, laugh at the whole Budweiser ad, the entire situation. I think Joe Rogan is going to make fun of it quite a bit going forward, because I think that maybe in the first clip, he didn't fully understand the gravity of the situation. He didn't fully understand what was going on. And also, this guest is just an idiot, and he didn't want to completely kill the show by saying his true feelings on it. Let me know what you guys think, though. Why do you think Joe Rogan did the complete 180 that he did, going from drinking Bud Light on his show to completely clowning all over Budweiser and saying that this makes me hate you even more and things like that? Let me know why you think Joe Rogan made that 180. If you could like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one.